So the first order of business is going to be, there's some zip ties on this fuel rail. You can see them right there. Come on. Cut those. Undo these fuel lines. This, see this wiring harness right here? And start prying on the fuel rail. Alright, so actually, you know, these fuel connections, 17 millimeter, there's a bolt right here that's 8 millimeter deep socket. So I'm gonna take this fuel line off completely before I get to the this sensor and the other zip ties. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove this whole assembly. Like I said, a 17 millimeter wrench, and then you get this 8 millimeter right there.
Crohn's disease,
Not gonna lie, boys, when I open up these fuel rails, all I could smell is 109 octane, and oh my god, does that smell good.
Before treatment, get tested for
better than sex.
Tell your doctor if
all
you have
day.
an infection, flu-like symptoms, sores, new skin growths, have had cancer, or if you need.
Alright, got all the zip ties off, and now get these 8 millimeter bolts, all of them out. Then we get to start prying on it. All the bolts are out. Time to start prying. After some gentle prying, more like fighting with it.
Listen, even back when we was broke, my team ill. Martin Luther King would have been on Dreamville, talk to her. One time for my LA sisters, one time for my LA hoes. Lame niggas can't tell the difference. One time for a nigga who knows. Don't save her, she don't wanna be saved. Don't save her, she don't wanna be saved. Don't save her, she don't wanna be saved. Don't save her.
Wow, that is a victory.
No role models, and I'm here right now.
I win.
Searching through my memory, I couldn't find one. Last night I was
could I be more lucky?
By the baddest bitch, not treated.
No joke, you guys. I mean, I've been prying on the first one pretty bad, but I took this dog leash type thing. I made like a outside thing for the dog. I just kind of got it underneath the side here, and I yanked up on it, and it pulled this other rail almost completely out on that one side. Let me try and get this other side on, and I'll show you guys when I pull it how it'll just come right out. Okay, I'm gonna pull on this, but even just trying to get it underneath here, you see what I did? I was able to kind of get it up underneath here and just pull up on it. I mean, this whole rail just came right out. Boom. You know, I was just doing a quick look in here. It's pretty nasty. I'm gonna vacuum each one of these holes in the injector holes. Okay, so I just did one new Xtreme-DI 50% injector. Here's the OEM injector. So I'm going to show you guys how to do one. All the rest will be the same. You gotta push down on this clip here to take this off. This wiring harness. Just like that. Then All that time in the gym is going to come into handy now, because now you got to just kind of pull this injector right out. Boom. That's it. Now hold on. Get into my bag of tricks here. Oh, look at that. They're all kind of like individually sealed, which is nice. You know, again, I can't stress how good this fuel smells. It smells like 109 and VP C85. It smells really good. Should make it into like a scented oil. Alright. Oh. Before I get ahead of myself, I'm going to take this clip off. It comes right off the top. Just take it, put it over the top. Just like that. Simple. Now we're just going to jam this in there again. Just like that. Plug this in, make sure you hear it clip. 2 done. Now I got 4 more to do. Just one thing I wanted to show you guys. When you do pull these out, this is the second one that's done it to me. The gasket came off, and it's actually inside the rail still. If you can see it. It's probably better lighting. There we go. So that gasket is still in there. So just make sure when you pull out the injector that either the gasket is still on. Just verify that. If it's not, it's in the rail. Take it out. What I did was I just used this little flathead. It's pretty simple. Just like this. Ready to go. Another thing I found too is you don't really have to, you know, reef on this clip. There's all you want it to do, hold on, I'm trying to look in, is get this to, hold on. Okay, watch this clip. It stays stuck open. That's it, you're done. Now just slide it off. One-handed. Okay, so just get that clip to pop off of here, and then you can slide it off. You can put the pliers down. Xtreme-DI 50% injectors installed. Time to reassemble. And gotta swap out this XDI 35 pump for the Evo pump, but that'll be easy. You guys can see my custom front mount intercooler piping. I'm actually gonna tweak this a little bit more too. I think I need a more powerful intercooler. So I actually forgot that I need to redo the zip ties on here. I'm not sure exactly what turns the flash on this camera, but I don't know if you can see it, but you can kind of see where the zip tie used to be. There we go. See, there used to be one here, one right here. So I didn't take a picture beforehand, but You know, you can kind of tell where the zip ties were. So I'm gonna zip tie this and then put it back in. I actually already put it in and I was like, oh, I forgot the zip ties. Much better. Of course, I got a little too overzealous. I gotta take this bottom row of bolts out. Definitely in the way. Another thing too, I made sure the zip tie heads are all facing straight up. A little bit not right here. Let's give this one more shot. Alright, last one. See, I got my zip ties on there. Remember to do that. All set to go. It actually goes in this way. Hopefully I'm not going to find any snags. Hopefully I did it all in the right order. We'll find out right now. Ring harness. So you don't want to have these zip ties tight. You can tighten them so that they're somewhat, you know, not like falling all over the place, but you don't want them super tight, because what you have to do is, if you can see, come on, stupid, okay. So this wire goes around where the bolt goes. To get this rail in, you need to have this wire up and over and on top of the bolts, because they're in the way. And that's why you have to have the zip ties loose, so you can move the wires around. So go ahead and move these wires all the way to the front with the zip ties loose, no bolts in anything, and then you're gonna have to work this second rail in. And you know, because this one's in and you don't have bolts in it, you can go ahead and put like a screwdriver in here and just kind of lightly, you can wiggle it as you get this rail to slide past. Basically these metal clips here on the rail are going to be in the way. So if you leave these zip ties loose, put the wires over the bolt holes, even on this side too, you'll be able to get it in. And then gently with a screwdriver, a flathead, you can push down these wires and get them to slide up, down, back where they're supposed to be, you know, underneath the bolts, and then you can tighten your zip ties and put the bolts in, and you're done. Also, when you're tightening down these bolts here, you see how close these inside bolts are to hitting the rail, both rails on each side? Go ahead and tighten these outside bolts on both rails. It'll get them to, you know, pull away from the center, and then you can get these other bolts in with a lot less issue. See this coolant pipe? That moves very easily, and quite a bit of coolant leak underneath my car, because you can kind of pull it out and twist it and whatnot. So make sure that you apply pressure to that, twist it, push it back towards the passenger side. Make sure it's secure, because it should fit a lot more snug than that. again, this coolant pipe. Just make sure it's back where it's supposed to be. Now that we have the Xtreme-DI 50% injectors installed, we are going to switch out this XDI 35 high pressure fuel pump for the Evo high pressure fuel pump. So we already have the one fuel line off up there, 17 millimeter. I disconnected this wiring harness. This fuel line is a 18 millimeter. So it's basically as simple as, for me, loosening this at this point, loosening these two Allen bolts, so I can then spin the pump over so I can get to the other Allen bolts, and should come right out and swap in the Evo. Alright, got that fuel line off. Actually, quite a bit of fuel still came out. I should have put some towels down earlier, but so I got that line off. Oh my god, this flash is annoying. Took these bolts out, so now I can turn this. See, I turned it, and now I can get to those. As usual, guys. Prepared for a crap ton of fuel to come out. Some interesting, so, you know, this plate, you know, I will reuse, see if you can see it. I'm going to reuse this plate. You gave me a new gasket. Right here. So, on the cam lobe, there's actually some of that gasket is actually in there. So, you know, make sure to check that. I'm going to pull that out, put this new gasket on the XDI plate, and put on the Evo. There's that piece that was in there. I was trying to show you guys on the pliers, but it fell. Just check everything. That's how I found that gasket. So this is this new plate. You actually put it on the Evo, you know, right side up, so you can read the writing. And then you put that new gasket, put the new gasket right there, and you can install it. Like this. So the shorter bolts, without washers, go on the side there. So the long bolts with the washers go on top. So now that I did that, I can actually spin this now. So you have to spin it so that these... Oh, you can almost see that it's a little bit crooked. Come on, stay on. Come on. Look at that. Oh. Right about there. Line those holes up. Boom. Now I just gotta put this. tighten this and put that fuel line back on. Alright, so with this fuel line, remember this little hook here goes on this bolt. And actually all we did was take off the 8mm nut. So we're going to put that 8mm nut back on there first. Don't tighten anything down. First get that hook back on in its place, and then you can start tightening these 17mm lines, whatever. Alright guys, you want to see if you did a good job? Everything's tightened down. You know, this is 18mm, 17. You know, feel free to bend this line if you need to a little bit. 8mm nut on that. These two ends are 17mm. Tighten everything down. You know, once we put the intake manifold back on, we're not going to see this shit. Plug this electrical harness back in. If I know how to do it. Boom. Alright. Let's check and see if we did a good job. Basically, if you hit this button here, this button should turn on. I think everything's good. I don't see a leak anywhere. Definitely heard it squirting. I mean, everything's dry. Should be good to go, but what I'll do is, you know, that does like some sort of like cycle, you know. You hit it, you do it again, it doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna give it another 10 minutes. I'll hit it again with the camera off and just check everything. But that should be it. Again, that's the Evo high pressure fuel pump, and we got the Xtreme-DI 50% fuel injectors all ready to go. See if we can get that 10-second pass. Yeah. You can see space is pretty cramped in here. It's actually like kind of a small 2-car garage, but with all my drywall stuff in here and this freaking huge car. I mean, this car is massive, dude. I mean, what is it, like 18 feet long? Over 6 freaking feet wide. It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane, but it is what it is. That's what we got to work with. Moment of truth. Start. It took a while. I had to crank it over quite a bit, like so much that I thought something was seriously wrong. But nope. I guess it's just all part of the install. Really slow, or a lot of work, I should say, to get that first start. A lot of cranking. She is ready. XTI injectors, Evo high pressure fuel pump.